is having an amazing day. My name is Lori Hartwell. I am the founder and CEO of the Bridal Society. And today I have my fabulous friend and co-instructor of the Bridal Society, Chrissy Thomas. Chrissy, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Yes. Hey, y'all. The y'all is because I am from Tennessee. My name is Chrissy Thomas, and I am the co-instructor for the Bridal Society. I am also a certified wedding planner. I'm actually a master certified wedding planner and the owner of Southern Sparkle Wedding and Event Planning. We are a wedding planning team located in Tennessee.
Awesome, awesome. Well, today marks the very first time that we are coming to you with our wedding webcast, and we are going to be doing this every single month, the last Tuesday of every single month. And today's topic is, why should you work with or hire a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society? And because I feel like this is a really important topic that we all discuss and that we all think about. And there's so many people out there that call themselves planners. And there's a distinct difference between just some random person who calls themselves a planner and someone who is actually invested in themselves and in their business. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today, Chrissy, because the Bridal Society is a wedding planning certification program. We train wedding planners, but it's not just a piece of paper that our members get, that our planners receive. They receive tons of really great support and a lifetime of being around like-minded individuals. So it's really quite awesome. So how about this? Let's, Chrissy and I have kind of made some points that we kind of want to touch on today. First thing is, a certified wedding planner can help you save money.
Yeah.
Chrissy, I find that a lot of couples are, and even venues or vendors might be thinking, wait, wedding planners can save their couples money? So tell us why you think that we can save our couples money.
One of the biggest perks of hiring a wedding planner, and not just a wedding planner, but when you're certified through the Bridal Society, as a member of the Bridal Society, we have so many relationships with vendors and with wedding industry professionals who give us benefits that we can carry on to our customers and our clients. So, for example, with Minted, that is one of our partnerships that we have with our clients. Our clients get to receive 35% off save the dates, 25% off wedding invitations. I am in the business of saving my clients money, and that's one of the perfect perks and benefits of being able to work with a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society. Not only that, but also as a wedding planner, we know our market. We know the industry, we know our area, and we're able to give our clients suggestions and tips on how much they're going to realistically spend for each category when it comes to their wedding day. I'll also go back and mention those partnerships, because this just happened a couple of weeks ago. We are partnered up with BBJ Linen, and one of our clients, we were working on the rental form, and my preferred rental company actually also works with BBJ Linen. So I thought, you know what, go ahead, put the linens on their rental order. I won't do it separately. My rental rep actually said, you know what, Chrissy, I actually think your discount is better. Let's compare and see. So she went ahead and did her rental order form. I reached out directly to my BBJ Linen rep, and I was saving my client hundreds of dollars on their linen order by using my discount and my perk of being certified through the Bridal Society. So just that alone, those benefits, those relationships that we have can save our clients money for their wedding day. And also, not just those type of companies, but the vendors we work with on a regular basis. Either they're going to give our clients discounts because they know that the wedding day is going to go so smooth because we have them, we're on their side for the wedding day, or they may offer some extra perks and benefits. One of my favorite photographers gives out a free wedding album for our clients. Those are some of the benefits that can truly add up when you're kind of working on that budget for your wedding day.
Yeah, I mean, and just all of the suggestions that we can give to them too, because it's not our first rodeo. It's not the very first wedding we've ever planned. We've already know what we can do to save them so much money. Sometimes I call it saving my clients from themselves. Because I mean, we get, as an engaged couple, you're so excited and you're just wanting to kind of purchase everything. And sometimes, and I don't know if you got this experience as well from, being a wedding planner for so many years, but a lot of times our couples don't know necessarily what's absolutely necessary, what's more thought of as an extra. And so we can really sit down with our couples and work with them and talk to them about exactly how many invitations they really need to order, because sometimes they think that they need so many more than they actually do. Maybe they think they need all of these extra inserts for their invitations, but they don't need them. And we need to explain to them maybe what all of those inserts are actually meant for. And so we could save them hundreds of dollars just from that one decision. Uh,
Exactly.
and a lot of wedding planners have chargers, those beautiful plates that they can rent from other people. But a lot of times, if the wedding planner has them already in their inventory, they might be willing to give them either at a discount or let the couple use them at no charge. So that could be
Exactly.
hundreds of dollars. So there's so many ways that we can save them. I'll tell everybody on average how much I saved my clients every single for every wedding, but it was on average of about $2,800. And so many times that was more than what they were paying me. So it was almost like they got me for free plus some. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important that couples understand that, because a lot of times they think, well, if I hire a certified wedding planner, that's just more money taken out of my budget, right? And
Yeah.
that's
That's not the
that's
case at all.
it's not even close to being the case. A lot of times, yes, you're paying us, but we're just working so hard to save you at least what you paid us. That's what we're wanting to do, but many times it's even more.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a really important thing for sure to think about. The next point that we wanted to talk about is, a certified wedding planner can help you create your dream team of wedding professionals. And I can't, you know, capitalize on this enough. Like, I want to like shout it from the universe that please don't hire anybody until you talk to a certified wedding planner. So if you're newly engaged and you are just not having any idea where to start, please talk to a certified wedding planner first. We know who's good, who's bad, who talks a good talk but has never walked a day in their lives. We know who you should actually hire. So Chrissy, why don't you talk on that for a little bit too?
Yeah, this is something that as a certified wedding planner, I am so incredibly passionate about creating that dream team for my clients because it takes a team of people to make your wedding day as stress-free as possible. And that's why when you hire a certified wedding planner, we can recommend the best wedding planners in your area that's going to fit your budget, it's going to fit your style, your personality. So that way we can create that team who I know is going to take care of you on your wedding day. For me, when I look at a wedding day, it's kind of like a domino effect. When you have one bad vendor, one vendor who maybe drops the ball, it can affect the rest of the day. And as your certified wedding planner, it is my job to make sure that your wedding day is flawless and stress free and that you are able to truly soak in the day. And the best way I can do this is by making that team of professionals who I know are going to take care of you. And not only that, I know the people who are going to take care of you. I also know the people who are not going to deliver as expected. I know the people who you may need to avoid because I've worked with them before. And like Lori said, they can, talk a good talk. People can have this amazing Instagram feed. They can have the best website ever. But if they don't deliver on wedding day, I'm not going to recommend them for you for your wedding.
That's right. We as certified wedding planners, that's what makes someone who's certified as a wedding planner different than just some random wedding planner off the street many times. A certified wedding planner is going to take things to a different level. We refuse to work with just anybody. We only work with wedding professionals that have proven themselves time and time again that they will always, follow through with what they've promised. And not only do that, but do it well. And that's so important to me as a certified wedding planner. I know it's important to Chrissy, and it's important to all of the Bridal Society's certified members. It's just one of the most important things that you can rely on us for.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
one of the teeniest, parts of our job too. It's so funny. A lot of people have no idea what a wedding planner even does. I'm like, you mean everything? We do everything. And what I find interesting, and I think that this is really important, is we see the wedding through everyone's eyes. We see it through our eyes. We see it through our clients' eyes, through their guests, through their family members, their wedding party, but also We see the wedding through the eyes of the photographer, the eyes of the catering company, the eyes of the baker and the venue, all of the wedding professionals that have hired. We take the time to understand what their needs are, what they, what their pet peeves are on a wedding day. What can we do to ensure that they are having the best possible experience so that the photographer can focus specifically and only on grasping those amazing photographs of that couple and not having to worry about all these other crazy details. That's why that dream team is so vitally important, and a wedding planner, because we do see things from every perspective. We can make sure that we're hiring people that want your wedding to be just as amazing as you do. That's the key. You don't want to hire someone who is just in it for, to get paid. That's just not what people in the, real amazing wedding professionals are all about. We're about, making sure that our couples have the best possible day. And we know that that can't happen unless the dream team has been hired.
Exactly. And something I also want to note, because sometimes when you hear the term the best photographer, the best rental company, people automatically think, oh, they must be the most expensive. That's not the case at all. As a certified wedding planner, we have a list of vendors who will fit every type of budget. So the best doesn't mean that they're most expensive. That just means they're really good at their job. So we can find vendors who will fit within your budget for your wedding day.
Yes, and gosh, that's so important. I mean, you gotta, we ask that our couples trust us a little bit. I know that it's a little bit scary because a lot of people say, well, if I hire a certified wedding planner, does that mean that the certified wedding planner takes over everything? And we don't. That's not our goal. A great certified wedding planner wants to make sure that they're implementing everything that our couples are envisioning. We just want to make sure that your dream comes to life. But we also want to add little bonuses. We want to actually make it better than you ever dreamed possible. So if you're dealing with wedding pros that don't seem to have that motivation, you're probably not dealing with the right wedding professionals. And so having a certified wedding planner hired as soon as possible is going to eliminate a lot of these unknowns and some of the scary stuff, right?
Yeah. And it can also save you time, because when you think about it, that venue research is your venue and vendor research, excuse me, is quite daunting. If you go into Google and tap in Nashville wedding photographer, only 5 million people are going to pop up. So when you hire a certified wedding planner, guess what? We've already done that research for you. We've already checked out the reviews. We know they're good at their job. So that also saves you time. And for me, time is money. So time is precious. So this can help you during that wedding planning process as well.
And when certified wedding planners are saving you time, we're also saving you stress, right? And so a lot of couples find that they argue a little bit during the planning process because of all the stress that it's creating. And if you hired a certified wedding planner who's taken a lot of that stress off of your shoulders, the less you're going to, less stress you're going to be bringing back home. And that means you guys are not going to be fighting or bickering as much because you know that a lot of this stuff is being taken care of by your hired team. So please keep in mind, we're going to save you time. We're going to save you money. We're going to save you stress. That's the whole point of hiring a certified wedding planner. And then as a bonus, we're going to make sure your wedding day was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. The next point that Chrissy and I wanted to talk about is the fact that a certified wedding planner can help you stay on track of the wedding planning and making sure that the wedding day runs seamlessly and smoothly. So, there's so much that certified wedding planners do in order to make that happen. So Chrissy, do you want to talk about a couple of those things? Like, first of all, I know one of them is, we give a detailed checklist to ensure that you're staying on track for the planning. And it's not the kind of checklist, by the way, that you're going to find in a wedding magazine. Have any of you have seen those sad checklists? They're so pitiful. There's like 5 items under what to do in the 6 to 12 month category. And you're like, that's not exactly all there is to it. So you want to make sure that you are hiring a certified wedding planner who is going to provide you with really detailed checklists so that you are not forgetting anything. And we're going to make sure that we help you stay on track through the entire process. And Chrissy, can you kind of touch on the fact that we as certified wedding planners also, even if you've only hired us as a month of coordinator, because I want to kind of talk about the differences of what they can do. They can hire us as a month of coordinator or just a consultant or in the planning. Um, and then that kind of determines, of course, what types of, services that you can actually depend on us for. But if it's just a month of coordination package, some people think, well, do I just not hear from you for the year leading up to my wedding? But that's not the case.
Not at all. And that's such a big perk of I feel like every couple deserves that month of coordinator,
Yes.
because even though we may not be as heavily involved during the planning process, you're still going to get this checklist. We're still going to make sure that you're staying on track with the planning process. Like Lori said, the checklists in the magazines are very cute. They're all of 1 page long. And I'm like, oh, let's plan your wedding in 1 page. Our checklist is very detailed. It covers those little details that we don't want you to miss. Another perk of, a benefit of when you have your month of coordinator is we still check in on you during the planning process. We're not going to go ghost. You're not going to hire me in, January for your December wedding and I'm going to pop up in November. That's not the case. I'm still going to check in every month just to make sure that planning is going on track, seeing how you're doing, how you're handling things, making sure that you're booking your vendors in a timely manner, all of those things. I will make sure it's still happening for you because I want to make sure that you're enjoying the process just as much as I know you're going to enjoy your actual wedding day.
Absolutely. That could not be more true. And, we're so invested. I feel like people don't realize, vendors don't realize, venues don't realize, our couples don't realize how invested certified wedding planners are in our couples' weddings. Like we kind of become the wedding. We just want it to be so amazing because to me, to all of us, to all certified wedding planners, we see it as a reflection upon us and the job that we do. And if it was crazy and hectic and terrible, that's a reflection on everybody who is hired. So obviously, when you hire a certified wedding planner, you are pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have someone who's just as invested as you are in the outcome of your event, and they are always going to make sure that they have your best interest at heart all the time, not some of the time, not half of the time, not a quarter of the time, but 100% of the time. And that's why we are so passionate about the types of wedding professionals that you hire. That's why we're so passionate about providing you with checklists so that you don't forget all of those little minuscule details that if you do miss, it can actually affect the wedding day. So we want to make sure that we're always helping you stay on track and making sure that you know exactly what's coming up. And we are experts, right, on covering all of those teeny tiny details. And Chrissy, there's probably about 5,000 details to every
There's
wedding.
only maybe 5,000 details when it comes to a wedding day. And as a wedding planner, I don't, that's kind of how I get my high. I don't do drugs. I don't jump out of planes. I execute an amazing wedding day. And it's because of those tiny little details that we put into place during the planning part of the things that your wedding day is able to run so smoothly. Just this past weekend, I had a wedding and one of the groomsmen said, I just want to tell you, of course, he had a little bit to drink, but he said, I just want to tell you, this timeline that you created has been on it. It's down to literally the minute. And I said, yes, it is, because I want to make sure that you are also able to enjoy the wedding day. So that's another benefit of when you hire a certified wedding planner is we are able to create that wedding day timeline. And that timeline allows you to have that flow. I have a lot of clients who they want their wedding day to go so smooth and just kind of seamless and flow. But the best way to create this easy flow is by having someone actually create the flow, create that timeline. That's the best way that you can go from ceremony to cocktail hour to first dance to dinner to the cake cutting. It just doesn't happen by itself. It has to have someone create it. And that's where your wedding planner is going to come into play by creating this detailed timeline. So that way you know exactly what's going on when it's supposed to go on. Your wedding party also knows what's happening, what's going in place. And then also your vendor team. Your vendor team is so appreciative of when they have that timeline in place because they're able to do their job and they know when to do their job and how to do it and do it well.
That's right. And our timelines are not what I think a normal couple would consider. Like I said, it's not our first rodeo. So there are things in a certified wedding planner's timeline that would not have made it and they could into a couple's timeline because they haven't lived our life. They don't see the behind the scenes. We know what happens. We know how much time certain things take. So that's why it's so vitally important that couples rely on the certified wedding planner, because we're going to make sure that your timeline is accurate. And because if it's not,
Mhm.
everything falls apart. We're the producer of your event. If you think about TV shows, if you think about, if you just watch the halftime show at the Super Bowl, I can't watch those types of things without thinking, oh gosh, can you imagine? Because so this person had and this is, and I know it's happening in the background. And so I can't even enjoy it anymore. So for us, putting together those timelines, I'm going to piggyback off of what Chrissy said earlier. It actually benefits everybody. It benefits the couple, the wedding party, the guests, and the family members, because that means that they don't have to pay attention to all those details. Everything is already thought out, and we're the ones pushing and executing and making sure everything is going smoothly on the wedding day. Think about the moms of this world who do not hire a certified wedding planner through the bridal society. They say, oh, we could probably handle this ourselves. Did you know that over 96% of couples and family members who have said we could probably handle this ourselves, 96% of them have said we made a mistake? See, they didn't say that until after the wedding was over, and now we're not time travelers. We can't go back in time and redo this event so that everybody could enjoy it. We want mom to enjoy it. We want dad to enjoy it. We want the wedding party to enjoy it, the guests. But you can't do that if you're also working it. And there's a lot of work. There's a reason why certified wedding planners are rated number 5 of the most stressful jobs in America. I want that to just settle with people for just a moment. We're rated number 5 of the most stressful jobs in America. So I'm finding these couples who are they have their own full-time jobs, Chrissy. They have their own jobs. Some of them are also going to school, but then they're also thinking they're starting a brand new relationship with some of their, like, they show some, like, I pick you to spend the rest of my life with you. And then they go, you know what? I don't feel like what we've got going on is hard enough. So what I think we should do is now take on the number 5th job of the most stressful jobs in America. And let's see if we survive this. That's not okay. You need to allow us to handle the stress. We chose it. We know what's going into it. And we only want to make sure that you're protected. We want to make sure that you enjoy the process. We want to make sure that you look back on your wedding day with the most fond memories, but you probably won't if you did not hire the right people. And one of the most important people that you can hire is a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society. If you haven't considered that, then you need to stop everything that you're doing. And you can contact the Bridal Society, info@thebridalsociety.com, and say, I'm located in this area. This is my wedding date. Do you have any planners? Because that can handle my job. The answer is yes. And I will make sure that I reach out to my members who are certified wedding planners in your area, and you can be contacted by them. That's how that would work. I want you guys to stop everything you're doing and first and foremost, look at certified wedding planners in your area. So make sure that you're looking on their website. Check out their About Us page. Don't skip over that About Us page on their website. I want you to look at it. And if it says that they're certified wedding planners with the Bridal Society, they'll have a specific badge. If you'd like to verify that they're a member before you just take their word for it, feel free to email us at info@thebridalsociety.com. I'll, have all my staff be there ready to answer your questions, and we can verify that they're a member. Feel free to reach out to them at that point, because that will tell you, if they're certified through the Bridal Society, that they have not only been trained correctly, but they have access to ongoing continuing education, because trends change in the wedding industry, only all the time though.
Yeah.
There's never been a time where I'm like, wow, it's a whole year of the same thing. It always changes and it always updates. So it's really important that you hire someone who has the inside scoop on your wedding. We can help you. We know these things. And the final point that we wanted to cover is a certified wedding planner will allow you to enjoy the day. We talked about it, how your family members can enjoy it and the guests can enjoy it. But Chrissy, you are one amazing wedding planner. We have thousands and thousands. We have over 6,000 wedding planners that are certified through the Bridal Society. Can you tell couples how they can enjoy their wedding day when they hire someone like you?
I always tell couples, especially the couples that have reached out to me, every couple deserves at minimum a month of coordinator.
Minimum.
Minimum. There is no such thing as a perfect wedding day.
No.
Unfortunately, there are things that will happen, things that will pop up, things that will go wrong. But when you have a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society on your side, you won't have a clue anything happened. You will literally think, well, this was the perfect day. Even though maybe the limo driver got stuck in a ditch on the way there, or the roses were the wrong color when they first arrived, all of these things that can happen and that can come into play on your wedding day, a certified wedding planner will be there to take care of it. Any fires that pop up, it's their job to put it out.
Because we have the backup, we already know who to contact and how to solve all the problems that can arise,
Mhm.
right? That's why.
Yep, we're planners. So we have more than likely plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. We have multiple plans in place because at the end of the day, our goal is to allow you to enjoy your wedding day. When I think about your wedding day, I look and I think of it as every single year when your anniversary comes around, you're going to be thinking about that day. And as a certified wedding planner, I want you to think about that day with bliss, with joy and happiness, and all of the positive things that happen during the day. I don't want you to look back on your day with stress and anxiety and regret. And the best way that you can ensure that you are going to look back on your wedding day year after year after year with happiness is by hiring a certified wedding planner to take care of you on your wedding day. And
Especially
I've been there.
through the bridal, trained through the bridal society.
Exactly. And I've been there as my sister just got married 2 years ago. And as a certified wedding planner, you would have thought, oh, you must have been her wedding planner. No, no, no. I wanted to be her maid of honor. So with that, I hired someone in the bridal society to take care of my sister on her wedding day. And during the reception, I'm on the dance floor, I'm having a good time. And I thought, gosh, what a perfect day it's been. And in that moment, my wedding planner hat came on, and I thought, oh, there's no such thing. Something has gone wrong, and they just haven't told me. But that's why they were there. They were there to allow my family and my sister to enjoy her wedding day. And that's what I want every engaged couple to have because that's what you deserve.
That's right. And you had mentioned to me previously that the average couple spends around 300 hours planning their wedding. That's uh, I just can't, you know.
Saw that and I was like, wow. But it's true. That's how much time and effort can go into planning your wedding when you don't have a certified wedding planner on your side through the Bridal Society. But when you do, you're going to be saving that time because guess what? That's our job. Our job is to be spending the hours planning your wedding day.
But we don't take over. And I think that that's really most important thing to, we want to save you so many hours because a lot of times, a lot of the 300 hours, I bet you about 250 of those hours are from planning and then making a mistake and having to backtrack, and then planning and then making a mistake and having to backtrack. We eliminate all of the mistakes. We are going to allow you to just do all the fun stuff, and we do all the hard, icky parts of planning a wedding. We take on all the ugly so that you can have all the beautiful. And I want you to remember that. Now, you would also, we talked about how many vendors are typically hired for any given wedding day. And this
Yeah.
is why it's so important how we can actually allow you to enjoy your wedding day when you hire a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society. You said about 15 to 20 vendors, right?
On one wedding, there can be an average of 15 to 20 vendors who are on the wedding day looking for answers. They have a lot of questions. They want to know what time they get to the venue, what time they need to leave the venue, where they need to set up. All of these questions and concerns just from the vendor team. Now let's add on your wedding party, your family members that day. Everyone has a lot of questions and concerns. And if you don't have a certified wedding planner to come to for those questions, who are they going to go to? The couple
A couple.
on their wedding day. And that just makes my eye twitch thinking of someone bothering my couple on their wedding day. But that's what happens when you don't have a designated person who is a certified wedding professional, not just not just your great aunt, but someone who knows what they're doing to help guide your vendor team, but also your wedding party and your family, and then ultimately you as well as a couple.
Because a certified wedding planner didn't wake up one morning and go, I'm a wedding planner. They invested and in their education, they are learning all the time. They are a part of an organization of over 6,000 members who talk about ways that we can make improvements and what we can do and different things that are happening and how to make sure that we are in, making sure our clients' days are perfect and wonderful and seamless. And if you are, hiring someone who doesn't have that education under their belt, how can you be 100% guaranteed that it's going to go well? But again, every wedding is going to have its ups and downs. There's always going to be something like, a groomsman who got sick 5 seconds before they were having to walk down the aisle. Then we've got to change things up, make sure that everything is going smoothly for the processional. But we can do those types of things on the spot because we've done these a million times. This has happened so many times. Or if a guest, something crazy happens with a guest during the reception, we know how to handle those types of situations. If the band calls on their way to the venue to set up and they say, our car broke down, we have backup situations, backup ideas and options that we can bring in. So you have to remember that it's not, you're not wasting money by hiring a certified wedding planner. It's kind of like getting insurance for your wedding. I also recommend getting insurance for your wedding, but it is really important that you look at us as like, okay, so there's going to be an expert on property working with me, seeing my vision, someone who lives inside of my head, who wants my wedding to be just as amazing as I want it to be. And that's what you need to remember when you're hiring someone to manage your day. It shouldn't be just anybody. It should be a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society or a master certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society. So keep that in mind, and I just highly encourage people to do the right thing because I've seen it go wrong so many times that
it tears me up inside because I know that this isn't a day that we can do over. And when I hear the horror stories from brides or mother of the brides who reached out and said, we should have hired you, it was a mess, it was chaotic, that breaks my heart. Let's not have that happen to you at all. Let's avoid that at all costs and make sure that you are hiring a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society from the very beginning.
Absolutely. And I think that this also goes and rings true for wedding professionals and wedding venues. More and more venues understand how important it is to have certified wedding planners be the only ones working those venues and being allowed to work at those venues. And so you're going to see couples, you're going to see venues saying, we're not the planner, you guys, we're not them. Venues typically take care of the venue. They are looking out for the venue. They want you to have an amazing day, but they don't do what a wedding planner does. Otherwise, we'd be called venue professionals as well. We do different jobs. Mm-hmm. So please make sure that you're making that part of your decision. But a lot of venues, almost every venue I talk to say we require our couples to hire a certified wedding planner. Vendors are saying, gosh, a night and day difference. When I'm working with a certified planner versus no planner at all, it's night and day. Yeah. So whether, you're a professional, wedding professional, or you work at a wedding venue, obviously, working with a certified wedding planner, we can make your job so much easier because that will mean that you can actually focus on your job. Mm-hmm. And let us handle all of the thousands and thousands of details. And if you're a couple, hire a certified wedding planner. Give yourself the best possible wedding gift you could ever give yourself. And that would be hiring someone like us. And so find a certified wedding planner in your area that got certified through the Bridal Society. It's going to be the best decision you ever make. But thank you for joining us at our wedding webcast. And we're going to be back here on the last Tuesday of next month. And we look forward to seeing you then. Chrissy, thanks for joining me. I had a great time with you.
I did too. This was so much fun. I cannot wait for next month.
Me either. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all. Have a great one.